Yo, yo to the yo. Good morning, freedom marchers, freedom family, freedom lovers, and freedom fighters. Snapzilla Gorilla here, hitting y'all with this live stream. Welcome to the morning paper, y'all. This is the morning paper, where every morning I possibly every morning, I will be discussing current affairs, and I will relate it to my philosophy. I will always bring it back to my philosophy, the anarchistic philosophy, the freedom-minded philosophy, and I will give examples of why anarchy is the best way to live for human beings. Voluntarism is the best way to live for human beings, because not everyone wants to live as an anarchist. And so, you got those individuals out there that crave leadership, that crave to be guided, that don't feel like they can do things on their own. They feel like they need a set of rules given to them by other people for them to understand how life is supposed to work and how they should go about living life. So you will always have those people out there. So it's more like voluntarism, but I'll explain that soon. But this morning, what I want to talk about, if you saw the title, is we know that Donald Trump, the Trump administration, has been moving toward eliminating a lot of government jobs. They have been trying to take resources away from certain government agencies, and by the way of funding and by the way of employees. And he is attempting to perform a mass layoff of federal employees. Okay, that's what Donald Trump is trying to do. If you guys know that when Elon Musk was heading up Doge and going through all the government finances and whatnot, and see where all the spending was occurring and all that, he supposedly saved trillions of dollars by highlighting where all the excessive spending was going and how to eliminate it, right? So that was something that Donald Trump has been trying to do. He has been trying to eliminate a lot of spending from a lot of these agencies, right? Particularly, there was an agency that deals in foreign aid. He eliminated a lot of funding for that, a lot of funding to foreign nations and all these different things. And now he's looking inward to eliminate and shrink government bureaucracy by way of basically firing a bunch of people, a bunch of federal employees. Now, he was sued by multiple groups, right? Because they're saying that, well, he does not have the authorization. It is not lawful for Donald Trump to basically fire federal employees and eliminate these bureaucracies, eliminate these agencies, eliminate these government jobs, right? Eliminate these government postings. Well, the Supreme Court ruled that he indeed can. They said he can indeed move forward with the layoffs. But here's something we need to understand, right? There are three branches of government. Three branches. The legislative branch, the judicial branch, and the executive branch, right? The executive branch is the branch that Donald Trump is the top dog of. So, for all intents and purposes and ostensibly, Donald Trump does not run the entire government. He runs the executive branch of the government. The executive branch of the government is in charge of enforcing laws, executing the laws, right? They execute the laws. They enforce the laws. They make sure that if the laws are being broken, that they are enforced, and they hand down, they make arrests and all this other shit, right? So Donald Trump is the head boss of all the federal agencies, every single one. That's not part of the judicial branch and the legislative branch. So he can't really do anything about that. But any government agency, the FBI, the IRS, the CIA, all these different agencies, he can fire whoever he wants. He can do hiring freezes. He can replace people. These are things that he can do. Donald Trump can indeed do this. And Donald Trump right now is trying to lay off a bunch of people. And while I agree with eliminating government agencies and breaking them down piece by piece and eliminating them completely so they can never return, the more minimal the government, the better. The best government is no government. That's the best government. The best government is self-government. Point blank and period. But if Donald Trump is going through and trying to eliminate these agencies by laying off people, by firing the heads of these agencies, shaking things up, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with it. Right? Now, it's all part of the dog and pony show. It's all part of the kabuki theater, right? Because there needs to be some level of adversity within government so that the left and the right can fight over it. And I'm talking about the proletariats. People like you and me who don't have any control over anything that goes on in government. They want us to fight amongst each other about what the government is doing. So they do these things. The bottom line is this. Donald Trump wants to eliminate these jobs, right? He wants to get rid of these agencies. He has every right to do so. And that right was given to him by the Constitution. Watch out. The Constitution is something that we're supposed to live by, right? And believe in. But that's not the case because we pick and choose when we want to agree with and go with the Constitution. That's why I have a problem with the Constitution in general. Because if I try to stick to the Constitution to guide my belief system about politics, about how I should live, then I'm always going to get stuck, right? But nonetheless, he wants to get rid of all these jobs, and the federal employees are afraid that they're going to get nixed, that they're going to lose their jobs. And it is what it is. Now, my question is, when he eliminates these jobs, including the jobs that he eliminated from the VA, right? My question is, when will we get our money back? That's my question. As a tax cattle member, as an extortion victim of the United States government. All right. When do I get my money back? When do we get our money back? Right? All these different forms of taxes that we are hit with by the federal government and the state governments. Now, the state governments, they have nothing to do with these mass layoffs because they're not doing that amongst the states. But where's the money coming back to us? Right? Remember when Donald Trump, when he first started doing this, when the Doge thing started, and they saved all these trillions of dollars, and they were talking about giving us checks. Remember that? What happened to that? How come we have never heard about that again? We heard about it when Doge first got going. Donald Trump was talking about it. But where is it? Where's the money at? If you save trillions of dollars, you can give us some money. Where is that money going? That's the question. So if you're saying, and I know we got this new tax bill, right, where we're not getting taxed on overtime and all this other shit, right? But that is for the future. What about all the money we already spent and money we've already had allocated to these different functions, to these different, they have all the charities, they have the foreign aid that they cut off, right? He was cutting off Ukraine. He did cut off Ukraine for a time, But now he's going to start giving them weapons again. I don't know if you guys heard about that. He said he pledged to give Ukraine more funding and more aid. And that's when Russia decided to bomb the shit out of the Ukraine in response, right? And now the Ukraine is asking us to put more sanctions on Russia. But that's another story. Listen, man, where's the money at? What happened to those checks that we were supposed to get? What happened to that? Oh, we never got them. Oh, he's not talking about the checks no more, right? But he's going to continue to lay off a bunch of people, which is going to do what? It's going to save the government money. They're not going to have to pay these employees any longer. They're going to give them a severance package or whatever. But when these agencies stop doing so much, they won't need as much spending in the future. Because like I've said before, every time the government does something, we pay for it. Every time they print out a sheet of paper, that's our money printing out. Every time they do something, every time a government employee, no matter what level they're at, does something, every time they get out of bed and they drive to the building that they work in, every time they turn on the light switch, we paying for it. We pay for the energy. We pay for the gas that they use to drive the vehicles. We pay for the food they eat. We pay for their housing if they are a certain level of government, right? If they're a senator or congressperson, if they're the president, we're paying their salary. We pay for everything the government does to operate. Well, if you are cutting off thousands, tens of thousands of jobs, that is a whole lot of money. Not only that, not only money in the way of in the salaries we're paying, but in the things that they do as in the name of the government. That means no more staplers, no more staples, no more paper, no more pens, right? You're reducing energy costs. There is a lot of money being saved in many different facets when he cuts off all these jobs, when he deletes these agencies. Okay. Well, if he's not going to give us our money back, if he's not going to give us our checks for laying off these employees, for getting rid of these government agencies, what is he doing with the money? What are they going to do with the money? And how is that going to benefit us as a people? Good morning to you, Joseph Wilcox. Good morning to everyone in the chat. Blade, Jesse Brown. I can't really read too many comments at once, but I appreciate you guys for coming through. Blade says the layoffs amount to pennies. How do you figure? Blade, how does okay, so let's say a government employee, let's say an S1 or S2 or a G1 or G2 employee makes $40,000 or $50,000 a year. If they get laid off, that's not pennies. If he's laying off tens of thousands of people, each making an average of $40,000 to $50,000 a year, that's not pennies. The trillions of dollars that they say that they saved us through Doge did not amount to pennies. Those are trillions of dollars in debt reduction.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
It was debt reduction only for Donald Trump to pass a bill that's going to cost another $4 trillion. That's going to put us in 4.2 something trillion dollars more in debt. What do you mean that's not trillion? I said, what did I just say? Do y'all listen? I said Doge claimed to save trillions of dollars when they did their audit. Trillions of dollars. Already. I'm not talking about with just the layoffs. But I said that's what Those claim they saved. What do you mean, how is that trillions? They said they saved us trillions of dollars. I'm making up numbers. Well, I'm just repeating with what Donald Trump and Elon Musk said. So if you feel like those numbers are made up, talk to them. Don't talk to me about that shit. Those didn't save trillions. It's verifiable. How? How is it verifiable? I told you what they said. I told you that they claimed, I said allegedly, supposedly. Do you not understand words? I said they supposedly saved trillions of dollars. And if they're laying off tens of thousands of employees. See, you said pennies. So already, if you're telling me that laying off employees saves you pennies, it amounts to pennies, then you have no credibility whatsoever to tell me anything. Because I told you what they said. They said they saved trillions of dollars. And they claimed, and people within government and politicians claims, that Donald Trump passed a bill that would cost trillions of dollars. I'm not saying this shit. They're saying it. I'm telling you what they're saying. I don't trust the government. I'm telling you what they're claiming. I'm telling you, if they're laying off tens of thousands of people, if they're doing mass layoffs, that should amount to a lot of savings. So therefore, where is that money going, and why ain't we getting none of that? That's bullshit, Blade. That's bullshit. Blade, you're full of shit. Someone asks you to verify, provide a source, and you say no. Just look at the budget. Who puts out these budgets? They did claim they saved trillions of dollars. Who fails the audit? The Pentagon. I guess you're going to tell me that Donald Rumsfeld didn't say that they lost trillions of dollars way back before 9/11 happened. I guess he didn't say that. I guess you're telling me. I just did a video, a live stream, where I talked about the feud between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, where Elon Musk claimed that this bill, the big beautiful bill, was going to add trillions of dollars in debt. But I guess he didn't say that in a fucking tweet. I guess he didn't say that because Blade came in here and said nobody claimed that. I guess when Donald Trump and Elon Musk said that Doge found a way and they did their audit and was able to do things to save trillions of dollars, I guess they didn't say that when they said it because Blade said they didn't say it. What is this bro stuff? I'm either misinformed or ignorant. I choose. Okay. Anyway, I don't claim to be, I don't know if you're talking to me, but I don't claim to be an economist. Do I know what an audit is? All right, anyway, so if Donald Trump is going to perform a mass layoff of government employees, and if an average employee of the government makes $50,000 or $60,000 a year, and he's going to lay off tens of thousands of people, and you tell me that that only amounts to pennies, then you have nothing to say. Government employee salaries are pennies on the dollar. All right, I'm done with this dude. Pennies on the dollar. So $50,000 is not $50,000, right? There are government employees that makes over $100,000. They have six-digit salaries. But if a government employee makes hundreds of $1,000s, it's not real dollars. Man, get the fuck out of here. Because the cost of losing losing the jobs. The cost to whom? See, Blade is an individual, right? He is one that believes that we need government in order to operate throughout our daily life. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I said anarchy is not the best philosophy for every individual, because some individuals want to be ruled over by governments. They want people to tell them what to do. They believe that the government functions for them. Blade is one of those people. If you cut FEMA and NOAA, what happens? Well, ask the people in Texas. Ask the Texans that just had a horrible flooding event. Ask them. Go and find out why they're saying FEMA might be finished after the Texas shit. Government bureaucracies are the worst ran shit in the world because there's no competition. There's no competition. There is zero competition. Even when FEMA was functioning, when FEMA functions at its best, it fails the people. And when you rely on FEMA to save you after a devastating event, then you're going to have to wait in line. And if they have any money left, you might get something. Ask the Hawaiians during the Biden administration. The ones that their whole goddamn town got set on fire. Ask them how much that $500 helped them when they lost their homes and they lost loved ones. Go ahead. I am a contradiction driving. No, you're contradictory. You operate in cognitive dissonance, and this is why you're having a problem. Anyway, ask the Hawaiians how much that $500 they got from FEMA helped them. Ask the people of Asheville. Ask the people of Asheville, North Carolina, how much FEMA helped them. Oh, they didn't just get $500. How much did they get? I must watch Fox News. How much did they get? If we cut Medicaid, we save money. How many people in the chat use Medicaid? Not just dissolve FEMA, dissolve the entire government, because I'm tired of people like Blade. Let's see how people like Blade fare without the government. Because he thinks the government helps him, or she, whatever it might be. Oh, that was just instant money. Okay. How much did they get? How much did they get? Tell me. Tell me an individual that was in Hawaii, in Asheville, how much money did they get? Give me a number. What was it? And did every individual affected by these disasters, did they get more than $500 beyond that instant? Give me a number. See, y'all like to come in here and make definitive statements. Well, what you do is you're begging the question, right? You're presenting a premise as though it's fact without giving a basis for it. Google said $700. Okay, they got $200 more. Did they get more than 700? Did they get more than 500? The question is, how much is $700 going to help these people? It is a fact. What is a fact? See, these things that you're saying, it is a fact. It is not true. These are not these. It doesn't prove anything. Just saying the shit. I'm asking for a number. I'm asking the people that said that money was instant money, whether it was $500, $700. See, I know enough to know this. If I make, let's say I make $120,000 a year, and a government employee makes $120,000 a year, by Blaze logic, the government employee's $120,000 a year is not equal to the $120,000 a year I make. There are government employees that make $120,000. But according to Blade, the government employee's $120,000 is not equal to the civilian $120,000. It's only pennies. So that $120,000 that employee makes for the government, even though it equals, you write down on a piece of paper, you write down $120,000 for that government employee, you write $120,000 for myself, it's not equal, according to Blake. So if you cut that $120,000 salary, you're only saving pennies on the dollar, as opposed to if you cut my civilian $120,000, you're actually saving the $120,000, according to Blake. Bro, what are you saying? I'm saying what you're saying. You said it amounts to pennies on the dollar. That's what you said. And then you asked me about Medicaid and all this other shit. I don't use Medicaid. And by the time I'm old enough to need some sort of form of health care, I'm going to have it. Why? Because I'll have worked long enough to have medical provided by the when I retire. So when I retire, I get retirement money, and I get retirement health care through a private agency. But many do. Okay. When did he cut Medicaid? When is Medicaid getting cut? If you're so concerned about somebody not being able to use Medicaid, then get together with your community and help them with their Medicaid, because either it's going to come out of your pocket either way. At least if you in a small community of people take care of your elderly, right? And you have a local doctor that you all can pitch in together and pay for these older individuals, the elderly within your communities, to get their health care, at least you know where your money's going. So if you're so concerned about the elderly within your community or anywhere else not getting health care, then go ahead and help them and put your money up. You don't need the middleman that is the government to do that. Because by the time your money gets to them, they didn't already skimmed off the top. At least if you keep it local, keep a small community of individuals, you take care of your elderly, you take care of your children, you take care of your animals.
Police reported ahead.
Do y'all believe that if the government goes away, then so does doctors and lawyers, and y'all think that you need government to, what do you think? You think the government plants doctors and lawyers and engineers in the ground and they only have access to them? Or do these individuals go to school to learn what they want to learn on their own? They pay a fucking tuition, right? They pay a tuition, they get a scholarship, or they get a grant, or this or that. I love when people like Blade come in here and challenge me. I get it. I love it. Yes, if you out of Medicaid, no more rural hospitals. Why not? Why not? See, this is where we come to the cognitive dissonance of the situation. Right? The government takes your money to pay for these hospitals. So like I said, if you have a rural area where the hospitals are completely funded by Medicaid, first of all, that's a problem. Secondly, well, guess what you have to do? You find a good, compassionate doctor. What do you mean how? What? You pay for it. You get together with your rural community and you have the doctor. You have them treat your sick and your elderly. And if you're working, you pay for healthcare. I pay for healthcare. I don't get Medicaid. And the money that I put into all these different things is an investment so that when I do retire, I can still get medical attention if I need it. Not through Medicaid. See, this is the problem, right? It was like I said yesterday when I was talking about the farmers, right? Well, here is a solution. I'm gonna give you guys a solution. You guys got a problem with the government employees being laid off? Well, here's a solution. The same individuals that has a problem with the government employees being laid off are likely the same individuals who have a problem with the farmers, right? The illegal farmers no longer being able to remain in the country. Here is the solution. You guys are probably going to understand what it is, all right now. Do y'all know what the solution is? Those government employees that are getting laid off can go work at the farms. Bada boom, bada bing, we in the money. Go take your ass to them farms and work for a farmer. Work for a rancher. You ain't got no job, you probably gonna get a severance. Yeah, take your ass to that farm and go work. Yeah. Yep. Investment in medical research. Like what? Investment in, do you know what you just said? Investment. Once again, Blade doesn't understand how money works. Well, if you want to invest in medical research, invest in medical research. Okay, there you go there. So the government stops. You think that the only way that medical research can happen is if the government does it. No, the individuals that are interested in the medical research will simply invest in medical research. I don't understand what don't you get? Who at this scale? What are you talking about? See, Blade thinks that we can't do anything without the goddamn government. Oh no! I agree. They should get fined for employing those illegals. I agree. Because it operates in a negative. Billionaires will hog the research. Billionaires will hog the research. As though they already don't. Do you know who funds most of the research? The same individuals that fund the government also fund the research. This is known. This has been documented. There is evidence of this. So if you look at lobbying, right? Special interest groups that lobby with the government, like Big Pharma, Big Medicine, They fund a lot of the research that is done on their shit. They fund the research. That's why if you go look at a study and you go to the bottom and it shows conflict of interest, they will tell you what the conflict of interest may be. Yeah, we fund some of the research. Yes, I'm glad you said that, Blake. Just like I told you, if you're concerned about research funding, then go ahead and invest in the research. Cut out the middleman and do it. It's tax. Yes. Yeah, it's tax dollars. You're making my point. You're making my point. What I'm telling you is everything that the government does to function, everything it does it with our money. And we don't get a say of where that money goes. So let's say I want research for a certain thing and not for how hamsters run on a wheel and bust a nut. Oh, can a hamster run on a wheel and then bust a nut afterwards? I'm not interested in that. But they'll take my money and put it into that research. I don't care about none of that. But without government, I get to pick and choose where my money goes, if I so choose to put my money into it. So I get the option. I get to choose where my money towards research goes. Who am I to decide? Who am I to decide where my money goes? I am. I'm myself. I'm the earner of that money. I made the fucking money. You sound fucking crazy as hell. You see this? See this shit right here? This motherfucker said, he asked me, who am I to decide where my money goes? This shit is out of control. So I don't want any laws. Well, real laws I don't have any choice about. Man-made laws? No, I don't want man-made laws. The only laws that matter are the ones that men cannot manipulate or change. Like the law of gravity. Right? That is a law that is what it is. There's no, it's not man-made. It exists as it exists. That is a law. Telling me, oh, well, you can't have sex. Doggy style, that's sodomy. That's not a law. That is a declaration. That is a mandate. That is a man-made instruction. That is a rule made by man based on how they're feeling at the moment. But the only law I respect are the laws that cannot be broken. Like I said, the law of gravity, the law of entropy, the law of thermodynamics. These things are exact and they cannot be changed, and they are scientific fact. They have stood the test. They have gone through test after test after test. They went through the scientific method to discover these laws. Those are the only laws I respect. Gravity is not a legal philosophy. Oh boy. I don't care about legal philosophies. Because who makes these legal philosophies? Man does. And the men that create laws represent the interests of the people they choose to represent your interests for. And so this is why lobbying is a big thing. So a representative, so-called, can represent their constituents, or they can represent the special interest, or they can represent they can represent corporate organizations, right? They can do those things, or they can do a little bit of all of it. But they get to choose who they prioritize. So if they say, well, I'm not going to put this big ass substation right next to this residential neighborhood because the electromagnetic field might negatively affect their health. But they might say that. They might say, you know what? That might be in their first mind. Oh well, hey, I'm not going to allow that. I'm not going to vote for that substation to be built right there. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. It's too close to the groundwater. It could create health problems for the constituents. I'm not going to do that. Oh, but if the energy company comes to them, or the private company comes to them and say, we'll donate to you $300,000. We'll give you whatever the max is. We'll give you the max allowable donation. That's called lobbying. So, guess what? While they might be trying to represent the people, when that money come through, guess what? They change their mind. Well, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to vote for this substation. It happens all the time. I don't know why, Blade. I don't know why you acting like this shit doesn't happen. You telling me, bro, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? You're delusional, bro. I know zero science. Okay. I know zero science. You know, I was a geology major in college. And I aced every goddamn class I took. But it's okay. I don't know science. So are you telling me that the law of entropy is not a law? Are you telling me the law of gravity is not a law? What am I wrong in the science about? See, this is what you get when people like Blade have a problem with what you're saying when you're trying to push freedom and push self-reliance and self-sufficiency. Right? They go into sign language. Right? They go into sign language because they can't really argue against what you're saying. If I say, yeah, if we lay off thousands of people, we're going to save money. Companies do it all the time, not just the government. Right? They may lay off a whole department because they need to allocate funds elsewhere. So they'll do layoffs. This guy who tells me that I don't know shit about science tells me a law is just a mathematical description. Oh boy. I don't understand. Like, what? What are you saying, bro? You talked about laws. So I told you the only law I believe in are scientific laws, like the law of gravity and the law of entropy. What are you not understanding? If you can't follow, that's on you, brother. That's on you. It's not on me. Anyway, Blade, you need to sit your ass down somewhere. You need to sit down because you don't listen. You listen to respond. You don't listen to understand. I don't give a fuck what you are. I don't care. I don't appeal to the expert. See, that's where y'all get me fucked up. See, y'all think y'all can come here with your so-called expertise and think I'm supposed to just defer to you because you say that you're a chemical expert? I don't think so. I'm not doing that. No, Blade ain't a bot. He's a statist who doesn't understand freedom. He doesn't understand that the government in and of itself is a corrupt and it can only be corrupt. He doesn't understand that. It's okay. This guy, Lillette Gray or whatever the hell he calls himself, asked me, what is my expertise? What is that in response to? Who am I and what is my expertise? I'm an anarchist, number one. I'm an anarchist. See, Blade is a communist. It makes a whole lot of sense. So, Blade, Without government, you know you can still have your communist situation, right? Blade, you can do that. You can live in a community, a communal community, and you guys can be communists amongst yourselves. I have no problem with that. Just don't try to come over here with that bullshit and try to force me to participate in your communism. But you can have your communism. I don't care. Keep that to yourself, though. No, that's not how it works. All right. Well, fuck off with your communism and don't bring that shit to me. It can work. You don't need me to be a communist for you to be a communist. Go hang out with your communist buddies over there in your little commune. Why do you need me involved? Why do you need government involved? You don't need government to be a communist. Go ahead and go in your little community and be a communist. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. Quit with the ebonic inflection. Then stop watching. Censor your ears from my voice. If you have a problem with my ebonics, go ahead and listen to somebody else. Go watch somebody that speaks the way you want them to speak. I don't understand why y'all come through here. See, if I don't like somebody, I have to say this every time. If I don't like a content creator or a YouTuber, I don't watch them. As simple as that. If I don't like them, if I don't care about what they have to say, if I'm annoyed by their voice, if I find them off-putting, I don't watch them. And I damn sure don't go in their comments and troll. Because I'm indifferent. I'm indifferent to these content creators that I don't care to go listen to. You understand what I'm talking about? Y'all don't have to be here. I didn't say that you said anything was wrong with my voice. I'm saying, I'm giving you an example of why I would not go even and absorb their content or consume their content. I don't understand. See, I don't have a problem with Blade. Blade is not talking about, oh, I don't like this and this, that. No, he's disagreeing with my philosophy. And he's disagreeing. I respect Blade for standing on his square about his beliefs. I'm going to tell him how I feel about his beliefs and why I don't agree with him. And it's perfectly fine. He can have his beliefs. You know, do I have an issue with some of the things he's saying because he's not expounding correctly and he's just saying shit? He's begging the question. Yeah. Instead of telling me why I'm wrong and going into detail a little bit, he's saying, well, I'm an expert. I'm a this, I'm a that. Oh, that amounts to pennies. This, that, and the third. But you're not giving any real explanations. You're saying it amounts to pennies on the dollar. Now you're moving the goalpost. He's moving the goalpost because I'm not satisfied with, oh, well, you're wrong because it amounts to pennies. You're not saving any money because it amounts to pennies. Well, explain to me what it does then. How does it amount to pennies? Things like that. The U.S. budget is vast, and that's the problem. See? I have a problem with the budget being vast because that means that the government will spend more money. If you give them a big budget, they're going to spend more money. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with them spending our money all willy-nilly as they see fit. You know what I mean? That's what I have a problem with. I have a problem with the government having a big budget because the bigger the budget they have, that means that they're using our money for that big budget. I have a problem with that. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get on off this thing. I'm here at work.